Hey guys, Dr. Prometheus here, back. Some more of our Steelers franchise. This episode, we're going to be going through the stats, my thoughts on the team, some alarming things in the stats, and then I have some players look through between episodes while I was sick, couldn't really talk with sinus infection. Now just coughing a little bit, so I'll mute that as that kind of goes through so you don't hear that. But let's look at the stats. The off season, I'm gonna actually do off stream because of that, just so we can get it going. And we can kind of get into season 2. So let's start with team stats. So for team stats, one thing at least on offense is, well, total offense we were what, like 6th, 7th from the bottom, so that makes us what, 25th in the league. Severely lacking though in probably passing compared to a lot of the other teams, although Lamar pretty even with that Ravens team having rush and pass. But for rushing, I think we had a pretty good year. Well, bottom half, but, and this is the thing that's alarming, points per game 18.5. We're not scoring points like that's the biggest thing. Passing touchdowns to 24, 45 rushing touchdowns for the Ravens. Like, that is insane. On defense, we didn't give up the most yards, but the bottom half again, probably like 27. We gave up the least amount of passing yards, which is good. Thing is, we gave up the most rushing yards, which is bad. Most points allowed. We didn't have the least amount of sacks. We're in the top half in sacks, actually middle of the pack, which isn't great. Fumble recoveries, we only had 3. And then for picks, I think we were probably middle, 13. It's not great. Only 90 third down conversions. That's bad. $42. We were down a lot. Like, this is just bad across the board. Red zone trips, only 61. With 30 offensive touchdowns, which is in the bottom half. Probably more field goals than anything, yeah. We're not punching the ball in the end zone. We gave up 49 touchdowns. Like, you can't have that. Good thing is, we're the least penalized team in the game. I don't know how. Our turnover difference, I don't even want to look at that. We threw too many picks because of me. All right, let's go to it by player. Let's look at it by team first. So I threw 44 picks with Pickett. It's not Pickett's inaccuracy, it's my bad decisions. But we need to clean that up across the board. Took 87 sacks because of our tackles. Our tackles gave up so many sacks, it's insane. Rushing, Najee Harris is 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns, average of 79 yards. Good average per carry, a 4.4. It's pretty good, but I think we need a number 2 back, and well, we kind of leaned heavily on Najee Harris. Receiving, pretty even across the board. What's alarming is we had what I would call, I think it was under Mike Martz, was the offensive coordinator of the Bears at the time, but it was under Trestman. We have the Trestman Mike Martz syndrome. Najee Harris, 97 receptions. There is no reason why your halfback should have 97 receptions unless you are strictly a running and screen team. We didn't run a whole lot of screens, so that's alarming. Our number 1 has 73 catches. Our first round pick last season, 59 for 627. No one breaks 1,000 yards. Fryermuth, 69 catches. Nice. 80. Almost said 8,500. 850 yards, 4 touchdowns. I mean, Deontay Johnson was a monster in getting touchdowns. The shocker here was Calvin Austin. Working out of the slot, 64 receptions, 838 yards. I mean, just fantastic. But Najee Harris, those yards after catch. Calvin Austin has our longest. I mean, this was our issue. Okafor gave up 22 sacks. This is Dan Moore. You can't have that. You aren't going to win football games when you are giving up, your tackles are giving up 22 and 20 sacks a year. This is okay, but that's still a little bit too much from the interior. Miles Jack, 202 tackles. Fitzpatrick coming up in the box, 109. Biggest things is Akila Witherspoon with 5. Devin Bush comes in with 2 interceptions. That's a massive drop off. Levi Wallace only with 2 interceptions. Like, you can't have that. Catches allowed isn't a thing. You can't have this as well, where your corner is your best person at forcing fumbles. No defensive touchdowns. Sacks is Ndamukong Suh. Like, a player that's past his prime at 35 years old leads us in sacks. Now, mind you, TJ Watt was banged up this year. I think he only played, how many games did he play in? He played still in 14 games, so he was double teamed a lot of the time, which is why our interior has the sacks it does with Suh and Ogunjobi. I mean, honestly, I think we're going to switch to a 4-3 this coming season. We're going to let Watt just rush the passer. We're going to get someone on the other side of Watt. We're going to get a better technique players in the middle. And we are going to get some better. I mean, Bush and Miles Jack are good. That's kind of like your Sam and Mike linebackers. It means we need an off-ball coverage linebacker, but one that can also put in the hits. Thing is, I didn't see one in free agency. I saw a lot of edge. A lot of edge. Like Clowney, Marcus Davenport, maybe. Clowney's up there in age, so is Davenport. Maybe Trey Flowers. But I mean, this sack amount, this has to be different. You can't do anything with that. We need to put more pressure on the quarterback. Kicking, I thought we did pretty well. Boswell isn't being paid a lot, right? What's his contract? 5 years? That's right. We locked him up. And I thought Harbin did pretty well. Was his a 1-year contract? Okay, so he's under contract. We have our punter, so we don't have to worry about that. I like this up to like 45 to 50, but we'll kind of see. Kick return. We need a kick returner. Deshaun Jackson obviously isn't going to be able to do it long term. So we need a dedicated kick returner. Preferably someone that's also can play as a mentor, but kind of see how it is. I mean, I wasn't big on that. Let's go through the awards while we're at it. Let's go through the weekly awards. So in week 1, we're going to only look for our players. There's Fields. There's Davenport, who is looking like he's going to be a free agent. So there's that. Fields a couple times in here. I think Amos has 1 year left. If they didn't resign him, maybe they did resign him. There's Diggs. Ward being there likely means Greedy Williams hits free agency. Like, Ward did some work, especially against us. I don't see anyone. We don't have anyone, but I also don't see anyone that's likely to hit free agency besides Amos. I don't know if we want to go with that. Ooh, Trevathan now with the Lions. So yearly awards. Dak Prescott gets MVP. We're going to start on the NFC side since we're in the AFC. Cooper Kupp gets Offensive Player of the Year. Not a surprise there. Amon-Ra St. Brown's in there. Defensive Player, of course, Aaron Darnold. But Brian Burns is in there. Parsons. I mean, a lot of your usual suspects. Jameson Winston gets Jameson Williams gets Offensive Player of the Year. Drake London, Jahan Dotson, Kenneth Walker, Chris Olave. Defensive Player is Arnold. Ibaketi? That's what we're gonna go with. Arnold Ibaketi. Ooh, Jaquan Brisker. Like to see that for Chicago, but in real life. Scenes in there. Devontae Wyatt, Hutchinson, Thibodeau. Best QB, Dak Prescott. He got the MVP, so that's obvious. Whoa, what? Sam Darnold was traded to the Giants. Okay. Alvin Kamara gets best running back. Okay. Can see that happening. Cooper Kupp gets best receiver. Yeah, he got offensive player of the year. So makes sense. His second one of his career, I think. Zach Martin, best O-line. Malo. Okay. Maybe Elgton Jenkins sees free agency. I would not be sad if we could snap him up. All right, Aaron Donald. Obviously, best D line. Davenport's in there. I just don't know about him. Leonard Floyd for the Rams. Okay. Leonard Floyd turned it on. Roquan. STB, Adrian Amos. I don't think he's going to be available. I think the Packers lock him up. A lot of Eagles in there too. Zane Gonzalez gets that. Okay, offensive player of the year in the AFC, Jonathan Taylor. I would have said Lamar Jackson, but okay, Jonathan Taylor. Defensive player of the year, Myles Garrett. The guy was an absolute monster. There's Khalil Mack. Von Miller is close to retiring. Joey Bosa. A lot of the usual victims, and you got Denzel Ward here. Offensive rookie of the year, Calvin Austin. Let's go. I mean, I would have rather seen George Pickens there, but okay. Defensive rookie goes to Devin Lloyd. There's Sauce because he's got the sauce, but not enough sauce to get number one. McDuffie. Jalen Petre, who had a good game in real life against the Bears. Lamar Jackson, of course, best QB. The guy's an absolute monster. Best running back goes to Jonathan Taylor. We finally see Najee Harris there. Finally a Steeler. Keenan Allen, the best receiver. Okay, there's Boyd. Jamar Chase. Now this is a question that I'm questioning myself. If Smith Schuster's out there, do we bring him back? I don't know. Ooh, Donovan Peoples-Jones is up there too. While I like Calvin Austin, if we can upgrade the position, I will totally go for it. Best O-line, there's Humphrey, Quentin Nelson. Yep. Makes sense. Best D-line, Myles Garrett, doing Myles Garrett things. Yeah, and Jadeveon Clowney kind of victimized us. Khalil Mack, best linebacker. Joey Bosa getting runner up. Chandler Jones, that is an intriguing trade. SDB goes to Denzel Ward, and then there is Ahkello Witherspoon. This is another guy that might see the free agency. If so, I think we go for Jabril Peppers. I like Jabril Peppers. Chris Boswell, we always get the kickers, so that's not new. So that's going to be the end of this. Just not great. I know we didn't look at any of the stories, so let's look at it. So Hiller's dropping down boards. Okay, halfback. Best pass rusher goes to Spencer Douglas. Okay. We're actually going to spend a little time with prospects. So Spencer Douglas. That finesse move though. Was that an award or was that a projection? That's a projection. That's a college award. Best QB, Eddie Batista. We're not looking for a QB. Heisman Trophy goes to Baylor QB Deion Can. Got a little 1-2 action here. FCS Player of the Year is halfback Sheldon Brooks. Joel Booth shines during bowl game. Joel Booth. I don't think I have looked at him. If he's further down, we might take a stab at a corner. Not great man coverage. Good zone. We'll put a heart on him now. We'll keep on taking a look because that could be something. A developmental guy at least. Best guard goes to Dom Britt. Yeah, we know about him. Best tackle goes to Isaac. So Isaac and Britt. Let's look at those guys. Whoops. Tom Britt, yeah. He's projected to be up there at number 1 in his position. Adam Isaac is projected top 5. Remember, we have the first overall pick. And we're thinking about trading it back. So I did do this as well. I did set up my draft board. So we're looking for is pass rusher probably first. I do like tap better, but I think we're going at like pass rush. So do we go Gil Howell, Derek Winslow? These guys are good pass rushers. Obviously we're switching to a 3-4. But also what we get in free agency is also big. We are going to get a tackle. I mean, no matter what, we're getting a tackle. We could shore up the middle of the line also with these guys. Well, maybe not these guys. These guys are a little bit lighter side. I have Isaac down there. Thought Oscar Gibson might be a good guy to put next to Frymuth in 2 tight end sets. There's Don Britt, Earl Wells too. Wyatt's down there at day 3 now. Might be a good pickup on day 3. Barry Teague. We got Bobby Randall. I think he'll fall to day 2 or day 3 maybe. Kilgore, which our GM told us about, it's a day 3 type guy. We also have some corners in here. Joe Booth we just added. So I mean, oh, this guy can go up. Like here. Because the zone coverage doesn't matter because we're going to be switching to a 4-3 anyway. Or to 4-3. So the guys, I looked through all of the guys that are going to be off contract as of right now, unless they're re-signed in the next in the first free agent period. Saw Trey Flowers, both the outside linebacker Trey Flowers, but also Trey Flowers, the corner. OJ Howard, Jadeveon Clowney, Jack Conklin at right tackle, Sean Murphy Bunting, Mike Edwards for a free safety, like a strong safety role. Maybe Odell Beckham comes in, maybe Juju, I don't know. Derek Nandi would be a good piece in the middle to put him with Ogunjobi. Marnie Oruwariye, Jabril Peppers is what I'm kind of shitting towards in the safety position. When it comes to that strong safety position, we are going to pick someone in free agency more than likely. Not anyone in the draft, not a strong safety class. So we likely have to dip into free agency. Looked at Eric McCoy at center. So if that is what I'm doing, say it's center. That means that Green is probably the odd man out. He's 23. How old was Dotson? 25. They're about equal in dev upgrades. Oh, Dotson's a 76. That's completely different. They're both under contract, so I don't know if we deal him or not. But I was looking at that. If McCoy comes in, Daniels flips out to his guard position, to the right guard. McCoy takes over that center position. Other ones I was looking at was David Onyemata, who can play defensive tackle, and Marcus Davenport, who, if we bring in Marcus Davenport, we're talking about going to a 4-3. It means that we're going to have Davenport on the outside, or depending on the situation, because I'm not sure how much. I'm going to look at this. How much does Davenport actually weigh? $265. I mean, if I'm going to a technique of the Bears, let's see. I think Davenport could play in the inside. That's pushing it. Actually, it's not pushing it. Here's a team that traditionally plays a 3-4, and their 3-4, their interior guys are 273. We could do that. We can do that with Davenport if he's out there. So the positions I'm looking at, wrapping this up, is we need a receiver 3, a receiver 4, a left tackle, a right tackle, a tight end 2, a tight end 3. Preferably, I like our tight end 3 to be a someone that can be a mentor, a strong safety, a right outside linebacker, or what would technically be your will linebacker, a CB1 to go with Witherspoon, so a CB2 or a CB1, Instead of a right end, we're talking about someone that is at right end or left end that can play defensive tackle. So I need two of them, a kick returner and a punt returner. So I mean, we are full rebuild in action right now. So thank you all for joining me. In the next episode, we'll go through the playoffs. Whenever I say that, I think of the guy that was on I think he was on the Saints at the time. It was no, he was on the Colts at the time. That was Jim Mora. It was like, playoffs, I just hope we win a game. Yeah, that's how I feel right now. But we didn't win it. We won 2. So we have the first overall pick. So I'm ready. So thank y'all for joining me. Please leave a like below, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time. Later.